It's an all-star week across Indy ball. We take a look at both games and a trip to the Pioneer on this week's episode of the Indy Ball Report podcast. We're back. Episode number 383 of the Indy Ball Report podcast, a show that's out on its own island. Isn't that right?
No. I'm on mainland China stealing American elections, baby.
All right, then.
I didn't do my accent, though, so neither of us getting canceled for this podcast. Let's go.
You'll never be invited onto Shane Gillis' pod, though.
Hey, man. Look. Westchester pride. That's what I'm going to say.
He says as he's driving his BYD.
Oh, I'm just sorry. We have better electric vehicles, actually, so I don't know.
Which we all know everyone wants an electric vehicle.
Famously popular.
I will say the Polestar does look pretty cool.
Yeah. Polestar. I know his nickname that was in college.
You know, I'm something of a Polestar myself.
Big stripper pod this week.
Well, we are here to dazzle, and we are here to give you the razzle. And I don't know where I'm going with this.
I don't know.
The American Association had a busy week. And if we're talking about Vice, they're on the FanDuel network now, which is vaguely Vice related. Hey, what a save.
Yeah, there you go.
And I thought FanDuel networks were a dying thing. They believe, if I'm right, they took over the Bally Sports Network, which took over something else, which I think may have been Fox Sports Network. It was a whole big thing. Several custody chains later.
Yeah.
Look, it's like the NYPD in the 70s. The chain of custody got all messed up somewhere along the line. And now we don't really know what was, but rather what is. And what is the case is the American Association on more regional networks, which is good for them. And they are continuing to grow a stable of brand name broadcast partners, we'll call them.
Sure. Yes. Cool. Like, here's one. Here's a guy. Now here's a sponsor deal. This is one where this is ranging from good to like very cool, depending on where exactly Trump hands, where exactly the execution lands. You know what I mean? Like what the path is. Is this could look a bunch of different ways. I feel like this could be tucked into like weird streaming stuff, or this could be, getting prominently featured, in multiple markets. Mm. I just don't know. Now, I think there's an interesting, and this is something that I think maybe needs to be thought about a little bit. Watching the American Association get on MLB Network the other night, it had me thinking, which by the way, also shout out the Oakland Ballers who popped in on a couple ads.
They popped in on a lot of national ads, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Which good for them.
Yeah. That was a big one. That was right along with the Joliet Slammers getting a shout out on a NASCAR broadcast the other day. I was like, my undiagnosed autism is really coming together here. All my special interests. I guess what I'm getting to is I wonder if there is room for considering something like if they want to get greater exposure. I wonder if there is room for sticking a game or two every week at a weird time slot where you can like claim a solid broadcast window for, a larger audience.
Are we talking like a tape delay, toss it on like 11 o'clock at night on the Sport Network? Or are we talking like
that would make sense. I also hate a tape delay, but it does make sense.
Okay.
Most likely that, if I'm honest. Okay. But every once in a while, I'm like a weird time frame might be able to slide through.
Okay, because I assume that we're going to get kind of it on a streaming service or streaming app. Mm-hmm. So like whatever the FanDuel Sports Network television app would also have this as an option.
I mean, hell, they're basically on the same broadcast path as I think the Texas Rangers at this point, right? Whatever they got going on.
Leaving Victory Sports, which in and of itself is kind of a joke.
Is it insane for buzzer? Is that what I'm getting?
Sheesh. I don't need to own this broken down O2 Camry when there's a 97 Buick Century waiting for me. Actually, that's unheard of, your centuries. Big car pod.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a T-top Firebird. Yes, I've lost half of the roof piece that goes back on it, but it's not supposed to rain today, so it's fine.
What's
I like that this is just turned into a bashing the Rangers pod, but that is kind of an Indy ball theme because of the ownership share.
Many are calling the Texas Rangers the York Revolution of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, fair. All out.
What a great team.
That's good. Is. Anyway, yeah. Wow, they sure can't get out of their own way. Anyway, York Revolution, they're looking very good to start the second half. Rutrow.
Not a top 5 team, in my opinion.
Rutrow raggy.
But yeah, so they're on the FanDuel Sports Network right now. There'll be some kind of partnership with them to get them in front of more eyes, I'm sure. But hey, they keep adding things and their brand name things, so good for them. Again, happy to see at least one league has actual vertical growth, which, not to say they're the only ones, but they're certainly the most prominent, I would say.
Oh yeah, for sure. Debating. Nope, I'm not going to let my ADD run. We already started this recording late. It's fine. Continue.
So, first All-Star game of the week, American Association. Jose Sermo winning the home run derby. East beating the West 9-3. Jack Groshans snaps the MVP. Any thoughts on the All-Star game or home run derby? Which was on MLB Network, at least the All-Star game.
Yes, it was. Very cool. I did not get a chance to watch live. And I will say I kind of lost some of the interest once I already knew the results of it. That's not their fault. That's me. But, yeah, it was good. They usually do a fine job with it. There wasn't anything groundbreaking in my mind, but it was good and fun. And I think that's a win. That is a win compared to most things. I didn't get a good vibe for what the attendance was in Lincoln. Did you get anything off that?
No, I didn't either. I think they did all right.
I should have checked it. I've been really good about checking attendance before games lately. And, or at games. I have hand counted more games than I care to count, or I care to reference while, watching games on a blurry screen. But yeah, I'm just going to do a quick check here. Let's see if I got any hint. Damn, these did beat them up, huh? Crazy.
Sure did.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, packed. A little light.
It's also keep in mind on the worst days of the week to sell things.
I've always said the All-Star game is brutal, and I think it's very difficult to pull off, and it costs money typically. Though usually there's like multiple things, like you're not the only one paying for it. But I think I've always said it's a rough one. That's why I've always proposed. Yes, do a weekend with it. No, you don't want to give up weekend dates, but you won't really give up a weekend date. You'll probably just slide the schedule out to reach like one more weekend somewhere, and it'll be fine. And then do maybe, as I said, an All-Star showcase other leagues, but who am I? Yeah. Anyway, if you want to do the All-Star game and you worry about attendance for the All-Star game, it would have to be that. But of course, everyone else is going to cry about potentially losing a weekend game, which again, realistically, they might not, but it's fine. To the greater point here, I will say that it was refreshing. I don't know if refreshing is the word. It was a nice, flip of the script to see the league that the whole year we've been like, they feel like the better division here. Actually won as opposed to last year.
Yeah.
Where we're all like, I forget which division it was, but that division's much better. And then they got smoked in the All-Star game.
Yeah. To have a proper reflection is nice. I mean, that kind of just a transition for me because I don't really have much to say on the All-Star game. Great. What do you do? Wish it was more of an event than it really was. And I do appreciate the association trying to do a lot more
100%,
with it.
yes.
I appreciate effort greatly. So I hate being this dismissive about it because they do genuinely put a lot of effort and work into trying to make it an event. And the MLB Network thing is genuinely a huge step forward. And at least it shows that with one league, at least, Major League Baseball is willing to put their name attached to Indy ball in some category here. Mm-hmm. So I will say all that positive here. But to transition into what we really care about, which is, the games that matter and whatnot, when you look at the association this year as a whole, the East is notably better. I mean, they have like more 500 teams, because the West has one team above 500. So not great. But I would also say, like, there's 3 legit teams that we know what they are. We know they're playoff teams and they're title contenders as of the moment in the association. 2 of those are in the East. One of them is in the West. And Milwaukee, Kansas City, Lincoln, or not Lincoln, Jesus Christ. Kansas City, Milwaukee, and Lake Country are the class of this league and are notably better than the rest.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything where I can like object to you on this one, because that's how podcasts should work, and I just don't. Yeah, I think pretty hands down. And in fact, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing now because we already talked about their All-Star team, their All-Star game, and the All-Star teams earlier, and I think we've talked about the disparity between these divisions a little bit. But I was actually doing a quick comparison during the game of the 2 starting lineups and trying to figure out how many West Division guys would start for the East Division, which very often, despite one league being stronger than the other, when you take the top like 10% off the top, they're pretty even. Even then, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. I feel like the East might be keeping 7 of their 9 or 10, whatever it was. But so, yeah, I think all that to say, I think the better numbers in the standings are not an illusion for the East. I would say the better result in the All-Star game is also not an illusion for the East. I think they are the real deal. Now I'm fully prepared for them to get, somebody have to run the gauntlet to get to the championship and then get absolutely like scrubbed down by some team who just, might have waltzed through their own division. I mean, I think the possibility is very, very real for that, especially, I think we've seen it before.
Certainly.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would just I could see Kansas City, potentially sweeping their way through and showing up with starters locked and loaded and just ruining someone's week. And then that's that.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that too, but I do think, honestly, even in the case of like the sub 500 teams, the teams that are more 50-50, I do think the East is even better in that regard, even though they're much more in line with the Western sub 500s. I think they're all pretty much within a game or 2 of each other. So but I'd be much more afraid of like, say, a King County than I would be of like a Sioux Falls or a Sioux City in a playoff situation.
Yeah, that's fair. Yep, that's fair. I was just trying to think through rotations, but like I feel like
that. Yeah, I feel like King County too. They've returned a lot of the roster from the past 2 years. So when you get into that situation, the experience does mean something. A guy like George Samus has been there too. He knows how to line guys up and how to work it there. And quite frankly, if you're King County, to get to the final, your path almost certainly is going to go through both Wisconsin teams.
Wisconsin, yeah.
So if you're able to get through that, realistically, is there anyone in the West that you would say is like leaps and bounds better than either one of those 2?
No, that's a fair point.
So I look at it kind of like that. Although I will say Milwaukee's a team we have not talked about much.
Right.
And they have really performed this year.
Just, we've talked about them more off the pod while talking about, ranking teams for a top 10. Cause, Milwaukee is at least in, it looks like half of the top 10s of the 6 that have been submitted here. And you have them in your top 5. So I have them at 11. I have them first team out, but that is not a sign of disrespect at all. I mean, the run they've been going on to sort of jump over Lake Country, who's been a very solid team, has been really impressive. And they're beating real teams. I mean, there's some soft wins there. We've pointed out how many soft teams are in the other division. So if you do a tour of the West, you're bound to run into some of it. But for the most part, Milwaukee has shown up and kind of answered the bell here, as they had an opportunity where they could have sort of very quickly shown that they weren't a real contender. And they rose to it, playing some actually tough ball clubs. That goes back to, they took 2 out of 3 from Lake Country. They swept like King County and 2 out of 3 from Chicago, which used to be impressive, but isn't anymore. That's it. It was I got you. They took 5 out of 6 from Kane County and Kansas City, right? And then they swept it took 3 from Lake Country, lost the 4th, and they got swept by Cleburne at home. And I was like, whoa, like this could be the slide. They lost the first one in Chicago, and I was doing that moment of you're at the top of the roller coaster, like, here we go. And then they rolled off, I think, like 7 out of the last 10, and it looked very much settled in and back. I was like, all right, man. And again, that included taking 2 out of 3 from Lake Country there. So Milwaukee has risen to the occasion and not taking the very easy exit ramp of, they're probably in the playoffs pretty safely with Gary, 10 games behind them, but they still are, they're looking good.
Definitely. Before we move on to the Frontier League, I will just update one thing from last week, the Chicago Dogs groundskeeping thing.
Mm-hmm.
The word of the wind is that apparently they just have not had a head groundskeeper for some time.
Fascinating.
It's been more or less a mystery volunteer, so to speak, in a way of phrasing, we'll say. So to speak. That's been doing this. And so it seemed like our original thesis of bad thing happened, and then they said, this is the kick in the ass, we need to actually hire somebody, was proving true.
That feels crazy. Like, I understand that it's true, but also, boy, that feels crazy. I don't know.
But,
man.
I want to know here, and this is a genuine question, because there is a lot of other Chicago area indie ball teams. There's Schaumburg, Joliet, Windy City, Kane County. There's a bunch of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the pay range of roughly $50,000 like a fair value in that area for that job? I need to know, because like that was my initial thing, that the pay is low and the known working conditions are less than ideal. So, I'm deeply, deeply curious about that.
I have like limited insight just from the organizations I've worked in. It's not something I've really gathered info on as somebody covering it, but from what I've seen, it is there. You get a lot of variation in who's doing that job. Some places they just have a young guy who's kind of on his way toward bigger and better things in that industry. It can be hard to get guys like that because a lot of those guys are looking to try to make an MLB crew as, not the top guy, but somewhere along the chain. Though, other times, and think about it, like if you are in, sport field maintenance or whatever have you, there's I know the guy who used to do an Eastern League field was running that. Now he's out doing a bunch of fields out for like San Diego football and stuff like that. So like San Diego State football and all that. So we think about all the baseball teams, but it's a wide variety of things you could get into. So you do have to compete for it. But at the same time, I've seen, like when I was at Wilmington, the guy who's still there, he's really good. And he had been at it for years. And was like, I swear he must have done every baseball field in the state of Delaware. And then Lexington had like the former Astros guy, like the guy who he worked on the hill, man.
Towels.
Yeah. And that was interesting. But like, so that you get guys like that, like guys with former major league experience. So it's really interesting, sort of the mix of very indie ball, I guess, as the case might be. But so I could see it could be difficult. I could also see it being, just know where to look and like how to draw those guys in. Just interesting knowing that too. It is a very odd industry to get into because of the number of turf fields out there as well, where there's a lot of guys who, like for instance, when I was in Lexington, we had that guy who, used to work on major league fields and we put turf in and both of us were kind of like, why are you here? He's just like, he couldn't figure it out. He's like, I don't know. I just live here. So whatever. He was basically, it was like his retirement plan. He's like, all right, sure. But, I don't know. It was, there's a lot of weird variation there. And it's in some ways a career that's sort of under fire, at least in, non-major league baseballs, like, circuits because of the number of turf fields coming up. But I think there's probably a lot of good people who might be itching to get away from a turf field that was sort of hoisted upon them. So anyway, there wasn't much to that other than just weird insights into like that industry, and that job opening is a little more complicated than people might think. And those dudes are very passionate about what they do too. So like they are particular about it. I know one or two who wanted to leave jobs, but they didn't because they loved the field. Like they didn't want to leave their field. I was like, hey man, I need you to lock in a little bit.
But the grass, Ryan.
The grass knows, man. I get it. I'm not hating on that. I'm just, that is how like there is a lot of feeling and passion mixed into that job. Working with your hands, man.
Switching gears to the Frontier League, though. They also had their All-Star game this past weekend, or past week, I guess I should say, not weekend, out in Florence, Kentucky. Atlantic over the Midwest, 2-1.
Woo!
David Goldsey wins your MVP there. Not too much else going on. They really haven't gotten started up with games yet, so there's not too much to really update since the last time we talked about this. I think we hit them fairly well as of recent here on that front here. So any real thoughts on their All-Star festivities? Or
no, not really. I did not get much of a chance to watch. Part of it, if I'm really being transparent about it, was I really hoped to be in Florence for it. And wasn't able to do it because money is tight and jobs suck. And so I was kind of hurt to watch. I either watched a little bit of it, I was like, ugh, this kind of feels sucky. So yeah, the part of it, that's kind of why I didn't check into it, unfortunately. But that was a selfish Ryan thing, but it bothered me. So not anything the league, like you know what I mean? Not the league, yeah. But it's just me.
Out of strict curiosity, did you notice they announced the rest of the branding for their national association thing?
Did they?
I don't know. I'm asking.
I didn't see it. I don't think they did.
Okay. Because there's not even like an article up on the website about the All-Star game.
Huh. If only we had a contact.
Yeah, because I was under the impression we were supposed to get that on All-Star Week.
Yeah. Well, they're playing tomorrow, right? They're back at it?
So, yeah. It should be.
Interesting. Yeah. Perhaps a text will be sent.
Perhaps.
That's interesting. I don't know.
It is. But yeah. Only other thing I will mention, because I think it happened after we recorded, the low-key Sussex sweep of Evansville.
Yeah. Saw it.
Doubleheader shutout on both fronts of it.
Was getting after it. Yeah, there was 2 doubleheader shutouts this weekend too. I forget who the other one is off the top of my head, but I think both in the Frontier maybe. Like, yeah. All right.
I'm not going to draw too many conclusions from that series because it could just be one team being hot, one team not. Break coming up, so that means something too. People looking ahead. I get it, awkward, but it's something to watch out for. We saw it happen last year with Sussex in New York, so I'm not going to rule it out from happening again.
Yeah. Again, it's a very classic. Sorry, iSquare is taking absolutely forever right now. I'm gonna snap this computer in half. I would say, unfortunately, it does feel like more of a trend for Evansville lately than Sussex. That's my thing. Because Sussex, while there was Evansville, if you look at their week, there was a 4-2 and 16-5 win over Gateway mixed in. The other 4 games were a 16-1 loss, a 17-6 loss, a 5-0 loss, and a 9-0 loss. This is not like a good week. Weird results do come through All-Star week. Some teams are just, whatever's going on, they're just looking to, get back to a couple off days, whatever. But, and also you get some weird results too when you have a team who knows who might send a pitcher to an All-Star game. And so maybe they're not using their best arms, trying to give them a shot to actually play in the All-Star game. So you get some weird results, but, yeah, it's a little eye-catching. And frankly, they didn't look very impressive before that. If you go back another week to Evansville to get a bigger picture here, they took 2 out of 3 from Joliet, but they had an even run differential across those 3 games. It was an 8-5 loss and then a 2-1 win, 2-0 win. And then if you go back 3 more, that's to Washington, and Washington beat them 23-10 in one of those games. But Evansville did bounce back in the other 2, so kind of regulated from there. But they've given up double-digit runs a few times recently, so it's not out of the question. And also they've scored less than 3 runs. Oh my gosh, how about this? Sorry, I got one more weird stat coming your way here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in their last 16 games, they've scored 3 or less runs 6 times, 3 or fewer runs 6 times, and they've scored 10 or more runs 5 times. So Evansville's just kind of doing stuff. Sorry, it went over my head completely. I have a little chart though that shows like runs scored, runs allowed type things. And it just, all of a sudden you see Evansville's schedule normal, and it just, it's like, oh my God, I think I broke something. Nope. It's just Evansville breaking everything.
They started just pounding a bunch of ghost energy, and next thing you know, the heart started going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down really fast.
Relatable. I mean, we don't know what to make of this team ever, because this is the team who at one point had a 3-game run where they outscored their opponents 48-13. So I don't know. What is this team? No one, we're still figuring that out. There's a lot up for grabs there. What is their lead right now over the wild card? It's still pretty healthy, I think. Yeah, they're okay. So they should be fine. But yeah, they're okay. They're up like a week into the playoffs, maybe 5 games. Yeah, they're okay. So yeah, so I'm not too worried about them, but it does make you go, wow, you should probably, maybe get that smoothed out a little bit, guys.
But they're up 5 games on who? Florence or Salernia?
That would be Florence, not Salernia. Salernia, that's talking international play. Totally different rule package.
Oh, okay. I must got them confused with the World Cup.
Ruined that joke with the NASCAR phrase in the middle of that, talking about rule packages. Womp womp. Is Salernia not getting into the World Cup? Well, they could have qualified, but well, I don't know. You shouldn't talk about it. The war crimes, obviously.
And then the doping.
No, they're pretty smart. They're not doping. Just driving. I have like 2 cyclist friends. I just drive them nuts with that stupid joke every time. Man, for a sport that takes it seriously, boy, do they talk about doping a lot. Anyway, where were we? The steroid era.
Yeah, we're talking about the Atlantic League next.
Oh.
I had to win. Crotch rocket.
I allowed it.
Yeah, so Atlantic League, we're in the second half there now, fairly healthily into it. Staten Island still sucks. Don't worry about that. That's not changing anytime soon. Maryland team's starting to fall off a bit. I can't tell if this is regression or them saying we don't have any reason to keep the foot on the gas right now. So why are we?
I'm tempted to at least believe in Southern Maryland's case, it's a little bit of taking your foot off the gas. Because they're still, though they are starting to collect signings now. They just had another one go this week, who the name off the top of my head is not coming to me, but they got 8 players to affiliated ball now this year.
Honestly, pretty damn good.
I know, but we've seen the toll that's taken on some Gastonian High Point teams in the past, so we know the battle they're fighting. It's not easy. Recruiting 1 division winning team is one thing. Recruiting 2 is really tough.
Intriguing.
Beyond this, let me see.
Obviously, the other story in the Atlantic League is High Point, York, and Long Island. All their early season rise or early half rise.
I mean that, and the Atlantic League, in a very cool move, celebrated Pioneer League night tonight, where we had double digits in every game. Gastonia wild win over Lexington 12-1. That one, it was 10-4 after 5. Gastonia was leading. Then they gave up a 6 spot to tie it at 10. Went behind 11-10 the 8th, and then won 12-11. Normal baseball. Then Hagerstown led 10-0 in the second inning, and then managed to lose by 8 runs by the end of it, losing 20-12 to High Point. Normal baseball. Classic baseball. Long Island won 12-7 over Lancaster. That was a war. Lancaster 4 errors. I think they might have a weird streak of a lot of errors going right now, if I recall. Charleston ran away from Southern Maryland, 10-0, and then allowed them back into it. So they actually had to take it seriously with their bullpen. Classic Charleston. And then, Staten Island lost 10-2 to York. Classic Staten Island. I will say though, I went to Staten Island first time. I went to Staten Island, for a game this weekend, and I really enjoyed it. I really had fun. It is clearly a rebuild season. They have a lot of transition going on, in the front office, obviously on the field, in the dugout. They do seem more cohesive with Wally. I don't know if he's a long-term plan or not, but the more you're there, the more you go, oh, Mirrorball destroyed this team. And it really emphasizes it's important to hire people who you think know, who know what they're doing, or surround them with people who do. So keep that in mind. I'm not willing to give up on Staten Island yet. Certainly, I'm not talking about the standings this season. I'm talking about as an organization. I think they have a couple more tricks up their sleeve. Do I think it is too late for them? Yes, I do. But I don't think it's done. You know what I mean? I can say, I can say if I had to guess, is it too late for them? I would say yes. But I don't think that is written in stone. I think there's a little more fight in that ownership yet than I might have given them credit for. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. They've kind of re-upped on, trying to find some front office talent and things like that. It seems like. So I don't know, but they got an awareness issue up there, man. They do. It is like Lexington when I showed up there, where we had to basically instruct people that there was a team still there. And it feels like that's what's going on there. But very cool stadium. Really, really unique. Probably one of the 10 coolest ballparks I've been in my opinion. Just from a, and look, the View's doing a lot of the heavy lifting there. The atmosphere was super flat. They have like a hype squad, probably of interns and maybe a couple hired staff that were really trying, and they did fine. But like, I don't know, whoever invited the one like Survivor contestant, crushed with that. Shout out to that person, because there were a lot of people in line to see that dude. I don't know the guy's name, or I didn't know him. I'm not a Survivor guy. I was always a Big Brother person, but I was very impressed by the number of people, and they had some really cool games on the concourse going on. So like, shout out, still putting in effort. There's just like everything there's a little off. Like Jackie pointed that out. She's really good at noticing stuff like that too, where things just seem, like the execution on things just was a little lacking, not just on the field, but off the field. But it seems like there's potential still, but they've really run out of, I guess they're running out of runway is what I'm saying. Like they gotta get this right from here, or else I don't think I don't know what the plan is, but I don't think it's going to work.
I can tell you what the plan might be.
College summer and then bailing out from there.
Oh, no, I thought we were just going to immediately either go to high rises or the new location for Westchester FC.
Yeah, I mean, could be.
Low key, though, if you were to tear from that ballpark into a soccer stadium, holy hell, the view there.
Well,
and that probably would draw fairly well for USL team.
If I understand correctly, so their field would have to have a little bit of work for that, but I think they could host both. I think it would be a question of, and I might be completely wrong about this. I don't remember. I felt like we did this, but if I'm honest, we might have actually, talked about doing it and then did another plan. But like in Lexington, because the walls are short, and this is the same as Staten Island, they couldn't fit the soccer field across the way you'd want it to. And the idea is you can basically put in, bullpens out like beyond like the outfield wall in say like left field, if that's where you want it. And then you can have the walls for the bullpen be removable. So then on soccer days, like for soccer games, you can pull the walls, and then that gives you the extra room you need to then play from there. So, I mean, possible. Hey man, I don't know. High Point seems to be making it work in a way. I mean, they're a team that, still don't have very impressive revenue generation, but they still have they're getting the revenue from that team playing there. So I don't know. There's something to it. I thought I was going to view, it was like a visit to an old friend before, while they're, on their way out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hey, like we should really go see. His son called. He said he's not doing well, so we're gonna go. And this was not that. This was me going, maybe there's something here. Hey, you're moving around a little more than I thought you'd be. You got a little more color in your cheeks than I thought you would, bud.
They normally respond a day or two before they drop, though.
The doctor's giving you good news. Oh, they're not. Oh, okay. You never know. You're still praying, right?
What's beat the odds?
I guess what's the takeaway? The takeaway is they're still praying. And based on their promo schedule, I'm not 100% too in what sort of church. But I do now see that maybe it is wise for them to have multiple different sort of faith nights. And now they say it, I don't know if they had like a Christian faith night, but they did have like an Italian night, which is the same thing. I don't vote. I just write Jesus on the ballots. Those are Republican. We count those.
It is Staten Island, so.
Fact. Yeah. Anyway, so that was my recap from Staten Island. Pleasantly surprised. And I do strongly encourage people to go. It was, if nothing else, it was a nice time. Yeah.
So they're kind of like Kesha. They're praying.
I don't even get that reference. I gotta be honest with you.
But Kesha has a song called Praying.
Okay.
So I also like Kesha.
I don't know.
It could be going down. Yelling timber.
Then timber. There we go. We're back. I'm back. I got this.
He's so back.
I'm here.
Never been more back.
Never been more back. People are talking.
Any thought on High Point before we go to the Pioneer League?
What were you fishing for there?
No, they're off to a hot start. Something we didn't really see at all in the first half. They're starting to get together. I can't tell if it's a byproduct of who they're playing or if they're actually starting to piece it together.
Ooh.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think they are better than what they were in the first half, but it's still not an overall great team. But they are really starting to put a little bit of distance between them and the field. So if they keep that up, if trends continue into, say, first or second week of August, then I think all of a sudden High Point becomes a lot more legitimate of a playoff threat. That being said, I don't think it's going to hold up that long. I think they got maybe to the end of the month on it. I'd have to look at the schedule to really feel confident in that assumption. But off the top of my head, I think they have enough in them to get through to August, and that I feel like someone is going to start to tip the scales back.
So, okay, I'll tell you, they got Hagerstown again for 3 more, and then they got Lexington for 6, Staten Island for 4, Charleston for 2. So pretty soft, but then goes Hagerstown, Lancaster, Gastonia, York. So a little rough. So yeah, right about at the month is where it turns. So good call by you. Now, what to make of it? I don't think they're super for real, but I do think they have enough to make the playoffs. Like, I think, I'm not convinced Southern Maryland's going to make a real charge at this for the division this half. I think Lexington's 6-6 record is not indicative of what they're going to do the rest of the half. And Charleston, I don't think it's that competitive, and Gastonia's off to a slow start, which they really can't afford to be right now. So I don't know who beats High Point in this division. I think they're probably the 4th or 5th best team in this league right now. I would probably take Hagerstown, York, and Long Island over them. Yeah, but I think they might hold on, and I'm not necessarily sure that's a full blown endorsement, but I do think it is. They're good and they're fine. Boy, is that lukewarm. Damn, didn't mean to drop that way, but here we are. But yeah, they've had some guys who look like they're a little more together over the last like 10 games or so, which is a nice, that at least feels good because they needed that. Ivan Melendez has been absolutely crushing it in the second half, by the way. He's got, 5 home runs in his last 9 games, 16 for 39. So it's a 410 average. Got 13-14 OPS right now. So gross. And, Nick Longie's been killing it too. But yeah, so they're there. Like, they have guys. If you look at that lineup, it's a legitimate lineup. It's just a question of, can they keep momentum up? Can the pitching keep up? We'll see.
All right. Pioneer League talk. That's the end point for the week. So,
right.
Do you need to pull up spreadsheets?
Yes, I do. Of course
Okay.
I do. I do. Pioneer talk. So officially, they're into the second half now. Billings and Long Beach both grabbed playoff spots.
Hooray.
So if you need a reminder, one division, top 2 teams. Don't worry. No, they don't play a balanced schedule. Top 2 teams, make it to the playoffs for the first half. Top 2 teams make it for the second half. And then I think beyond that, I want to say it's wild cards. I got to double check that. I always forget how the Pioneer League does theirs. Because like Billings is already 3-0 and look like they're off and running for a potential second.
If you go to the Oakland Ballers Twitter account, they posted the other day how the second half works.
Do you remember?
I do not.
All right, let's take a field trip to the Oakland Ballers Twitter account. Yeah, to see what you've done.
I believe is
an
new
audio journey through the internet. That's what the internet sounds like.
Cool. Sounds like a dial-up modem. I do think it is. They will go to wild cards if there are repeat winners, and in that event, I think it's overall record, if I'm not mistaken. That tends to be the rule of thumb. Now, they may do something different because why wouldn't they? But
okay. Can I just say, first of all, shout out to Oakland for having more culture that I have no clue about than any other city in this country. There's constantly something going on over there where it's like it becomes the meme of every like pop culture story now is like Schleep Schlop got mogged by Scoobdorp. Oh, he didn't like that. And I'm just like, okay. Note to self, don't challenge ice cold Kenny Bo in your first knocker ball knockout. Am I still sober reading this? What is happening to me? Anyway, continuing on. Also, I love the fact that they've got Baller Mania, big time wrestling coming out. Amazing. Also Baller Mania for some, reason and combined with wrestling makes me want to hit a hard Kid Rock ball with the ball. Moving right on from the ball and the ball, to where was that post? It was second half preview. No, is it? Was it that one? Got to click on it. Oh, God, life is brutal.
God, it's brutal out here.
Dispatches from Raimondi. I mean, it's not always great to hear it like you're writing it from the. If I give a note, it would be dispatches from Raimondi. Does sound like you're in a war zone. Any hoodles.
Well, there's a war out here in these trenches trying to clinch this playoff spot, Ryan. This is the Pioneer League where battles and warriors are forged. You wouldn't know that because you have no skippity riz.
Ogden's got raptors. They got dinosaurs out here. Let me see.
Long Beach got regulators.
Okay, I do like the calling Long Beach flexing their first half like championship a Mickey Mouse behavior. Not bad. But also the infighting between like the same organization, basically. I'm kind of like, okay, calm down.
Oh yeah, the ad furiously switching Twitter accounts to respond to himself.
I mean, things that I used to do when I was running the Legends and Genomes accounts.
There's no truth there.
Shout out to before we revealed the Genome's name, but we had an anonymous account, and like the vibe we decided on was it's living in the walls, which was honestly a great vibe. It went really well.
Can I just say on the Long Beach Oakland thing too? Because they were getting a Twitter spat. That's the context behind that.
Yeah.
Going ahead and responding to me, or not responding to me, but responding to each other with, look how much traction this tweet got. It's pathetic.
That's bad. I don't also like you're basically the same organization here, guys. Calling out, like, do you even have 4 cameras on your broadcast is like, hey man, sell down. That's friendly fire, buddy. I don't know. I don't see it, but I could just not be vigilant if I'm honest.
Yeah, I have it right here.
Oh, thank you.
Pioneer League second half. Top 2 teams in the second half qualify, or if Long Beach and or Billings finish in the top 2 in the second half, wildcard teams will be qualified based on best full season records.
There we go. Cool. As God intended. Anyway. Okay. So where were we? That means, we got to pay attention to the contenders here, right? I would say based on what we had here. Yes.
Small thing of note too, it announced playoff structure as well. So semifinal is going to be September 10th through 12th, best of 3 series, and that's going to be hosted by both Long Beach and Billings. And then the championships are also best of 3 from the 15th through the 18th. So first half is going to host no matter what, which makes sense for ticket sale reasons.
Fair enough.
Although that does open up a very interesting scenario of the team with the best overall record maybe on the road.
Yeah, that's not great, but second half, 2-half system always screws somebody.
Exactly. So, in any case, carry on.
Okay, so first, all right. So we got to look at like who do we think is actually a competitor here? Red Pocket Mobiles, no. Yuba Sutter, no. Idaho Falls, man. I got to double check what their record was when they made the manager move. Do you remember when that
this
was?
Once, and I forget it.
Yeah, I know.
We
literally did this like last pod, but I think they might have close to a winning record, if not a winning record since that move. It's close.
No.
But anyway, that they're still not that close. Tell you that much. Great Falls, no. Now the conversation starts with Oakland. Oakland did not look good in the first half, but you have to not count them out, right? That would be kind of crazy at this point. So they're possible. The question is, what's the deal there? What's the deal with the Ballers? Boise could be. Missoula finished 12 games out of first place for the first half, which was shocking. Shocking. Modesto, they could make a run. Ogden's up there, and then we got teams already in. So I don't think Glacier's for real. I'm just going to put that at the top. They had a good first half. I don't necessarily see that continuing. They've already lost 6 in a row, 3 straight to start the half. Oakland's 0-2 to start the half. Also not great. So there's some things to consider there. The quick version of what's kind of going on, I would say, is Billings. They're super good. Just going to shout out a couple players from their team. Cam Bowen is absurd. Got a 609 slugging percentage. Charlie Muniz at catcher has a 660 slug right now. 16 homers, 49 games. Amazing. I know all the numbers are crazy because it's the Pioneer League, but you know, it is what it is. AJ Shaver has 14 home runs and I think three cycles now.
Yeah.
3 cycles now. 14 home runs. His slug is 902. So, you know, jot that down. Yeah. So extra base hit machine, as evidenced by the aforementioned 3 cycles. There's just a lot of offense on that Billings team. They are terrifying. Yeah. I mean, everybody, I think they had their top 10 batting averages on this team are all above 300. So yeah, it's a bad time and you can point to the fielding and point to the altitude, whatever you want, but Billings is putting up just absurd numbers. So it is what it is. And there's plenty of teams that aren't. So what are you going to do about it? On the other side of things, on their pitching, just because I want to shout them out because they have been very impressive. They've got, because look, they are scoring a lot of runs, but they also have 5 pitchers with sub-6 ERAs who, like, their 5 innings pitch leaders all have sub-6 ERAs, which if you know anything about Billings and this league is very impressive. My favorite one, if you won't want to watch, because I think he's weird and I love him, is Cole Callan. And it could be Calnan, but I think it's Callan. Okay, hear me on this line because he's my favorite. Okay. 5.57 ERA, fine. 5 starts, 7 appearances. Keep those numbers in mind.
Yeah, 5 starts, 7 appearances.
Yes.
How many innings?
42 innings.
Okay.
Pitching for some distance. Number. In that time, he only has 18 strikeouts.
Okay.
It's less than 4 per 9. And he's allowed 14 home runs.
The hell?
There's the reaction. Yeah. He's allowed like 34 runs in 42 innings. Now, 8 of them aren't earned. That helps. But also 14 runs have been home runs. So that's crazy. But he's making it work. And a lot of it's just because he's only walked 6 guys. And he's basically like, put it in play. I dare you. And then a guy gets home run and he goes, well, that'll happen. And then the next guy doesn't. And now we have an out. And I swear that's his methodology. It's fascinating to me. So I'm like really locked into like when his next start is. Very excited about it. But there's a bunch of guys who are just chucking the baseball in Billings. I couldn't shout them all out, but, I'm coming soon to a recap near you, surely. Yeah. Okay. Other than that, just wanted to mention there was another guy who caught my eye and they'll move very long. I'm not going to spend this much time on every team. I just want to talk about Billings because I think they're really good and I'm fascinated by them. But other than that, actually not going to shout too much. Jaden Harris looking really good. There we go. Moving on. Missoula. What is going on with Missoula, bro? Have you seen anything with them?
I've seen they're not been very good.
dude, they're not very good. And it's like kind of freaking me out. But absolutely back from the dead, like Mitch McConnell, because they're off to a hot start in the second half here. They got a few guys worth shouting out here for some first half performances. I'll hit it hard. Like if they're going to make this work, it's going to have to be off of like a few of these guys. I would say, boy, the stat site's terrible, Pioneer League. I'm going to, okay, it's fine.
Get a nice score with the rest of the team.
I'm going to freak out. Anyway, Xavier Casarella, crazy good season. 349, 463, 677 slash. He's got 17 dongs in 46 games. Very cool. Nick Klemp, that's Nick spelled with an H. Why not? Catching, and 614 slugging. So it's just doing that. Other than this, and I'm just giving slugging because it's really hard to conceptualize some of the Pioneer League numbers. So just a gaudy slugging percentage kind of summarizes a lot of what's happening. On the other end though, I don't know. They're just offensively, they've been fine. It's just that like their pitching's been underwhelming. It's like below average. And I get it. Missoula's not easy at pitching, but again, like there's other teams. They have had already. This was the number I noticed. This is not unfriendly numbers coming in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I believe they've had almost 40 people throw a pitch for them so far this year.
That's a lot.
You don't want that. I don't know the exact number, but suffice to say almost 40 is a lot, right? We all agree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 of them have a sub 10 ERA. So about half of them, actually exactly half of them seem to have a 9+ ERA. So it's not going well. They're not finding an abundance of solutions. The one guy will shout, Reese Fields, 48 and 2/3 innings, 3.51 ERA. Very cool. He's been getting some starts. I love that. And, Matthew Taubensi, who's put up some solid numbers, but he has struck out a million people, 33 in 21 innings. Very fun. Keep an eye on that guy. Moving along. Long Beach is super good. We're going to go quicker with them, but they are very good. Who was the one I saw the other day hit a ball a mile. I think it was Jacob Jablonski, who we are acquainted with. He's been around, but he's very good. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope. I lied. I'm kind of in the wrong column. Classic Ryan behavior. But when it comes to it, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 guys with double-digit home runs. That's about average. I thought that was going to be more impressive when I said it, but now I'm in the sentence already. Their pitching kind of, is like the main thing for them at this point. They have the best ERA in the league. They have the best whip in the league. They have the best just about everything in the league. They're not walking guys. They're very good. So the pitching's keeping them in it because there's not a lot of stars in the lineup. They just kind of compete and they battle. That's what you're going to get. But when you're the only team pitching in the league, sometimes it works. But we'll see. That's not the theory when it comes to the playoffs. So we'll see if your normal theory is right, Nick. Last couple that are still competitive. What is going on with Oakland? What is going on with Oakland?
Oh, all the resources from that group are going to Long Beach to make them successful this year.
Yeah, because winning grabs headlines. That's possible. But also there is the weirdness of like, they do have a few things going on with like just not a lot of options in the lineup. It's kind of weird. They got like, first of all, Jeter Ibarra has 21 home runs, which is wild. That's 21 home runs in 49 games. So very cool. But other than that, yeah, not a lot to fear in this lineup. You can say, well, it's like, they're playing at normal altitude, but like, yeah, I mean, so are other teams. I mean, Oakland is a small ballpark, but there's, kind of getting dunked on. But if I recall, the bigger issue here is the 9.10 ERA they've got. That's really where a lot of the issues are coming from. And in the end, they're giving up a ton of bombs. And that's where I don't let them off the hook with the, not hitting home runs. Because it's like, well, they're not at altitude. Well, they've given up 112, which is 13 more home runs than any other team, including Idaho Falls. So good Lord. With that, I mean, they are striking out a lot of batters, but it's just, you can't get the ball in the yard, man. And that's kind of the big thing. I mean, that is of all the stats for them pitching wise that could lead to them having one of the worst ERAs. Every other stat is kind of run of the mill, except they've given up so many homers. So I don't know what they're going to have to do to fix it. but that needs to be fixed pretty quickly because they're not going to survive much longer in this league with the offenses that are here. I mean, they're giving up 2.3 home runs per 9 innings, which is not going to do it. Lastly, the team I want to talk about, Modesto. Can't tell if they're for real, but I think they're interesting. Did I talk on them yet? I don't know if I did. But I guess in summary, I think they got a few competitors in this league that are actually legit. I'm trying to remember if I talked about Modesto. I feel like I didn't, but anyway, I've seen a couple Modesto games recently, and I don't know. When they're good, they look so good. When they're bad, they look so bad. They do have a pitching staff that is way better than anything else happening in this league right now. They have Omar Serrano and Devin Hernandez. Omar Serrano's made 10 starts. He's a 3.68 ERA right now, striking out more than a batter an inning. Devin Hernandez has made 7 outings, 6 starts, 3.65 ERA. Serrano's almost lasting 6 innings per 9. Very good in this league. And then beyond that, the rest of the starters are really solid too, man. Like this is the best rotation I've seen in the Pioneer League, maybe since I've started covering, the league. Oakland had a really good one. That's a lie. Oakland had a really good one, and Yuba/YOLO did the 1 year too. So I don't know. California teams, when they find good pitching, they can keep it because nobody wants to go to the altitude. But other than that, who's a strikeout guy? David Dumas. He has a bunch of strikeouts. Yohan Castillo has a bunch of strikeouts. I think Modesto could be for real here, but they need to probably figure out how to like compete more consistently in games and back up their pitching because, sometimes they just feel like they no show and it's not the vibe, man. They have a lot of games where they seem flat. So if they can fix that, they're going to be good. That's your catch up and preview in a way, between halves in the Pioneer League. Thanks for the 3 people who followed all that.
My only thing to add here is guess where AJ Shaver, well, I shouldn't say guess where he played, but rather what organization drafted him prior to winding up in Billings.
Is he a Philly?
How could you guess?
Because he's good. Every time.
He even got 4 games in AAA.
Skip Redding, which I take as an insult. He also played for Martha's Vineyard, funny. I always think it's funny that there's a New England collegiate team in Martha's Vineyard.
Well, that'll do it for the pod for the week. We'll do some plugs. We'll get out of here. Indy Ball Pod, Indy Ball Report, whatever else. I don't post anymore, so that's a thing. I wish I did more, but I'm not going to lie. I can't be bothered to think of something to post, so I don't do that. Ryan, do you post?
No, I want to post more though. We just had a full-on family meeting of what am I doing? Because your boys' job is eliminated, baby. Job's getting eliminated. So, you can follow me at Indy Ball Nation on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, podcast platforms. Hoping to post more, especially now with this going on. I might have some more time on my hands. Also, if you're hiring for whatever, baseball, not, otherwise, whatever, hit me up, man. I'm around. I can do baseball ops stuff. I can do marketing stuff. I can do a whole bunch of things. Other than that, I'll probably just be, I'll be shilling dick jokes under a bridge in Reading, Pennsylvania soon if nothing changes. So we'll see.
The Bear Den's always hiring.
More of an otter.
Yeah, there gotta be at least one failing sports team in the tri-state area.
I know, right?
Quad state area, I guess, to include Pennsylvania.
Meanwhile, now's as good a time as ever to bring back Canada River Sharks.
Oh, if only. Anywho, that's all for the week. Stay tuned in Salarnia. Who knows? Maybe you may get a live pod. But until then, don't forget to play ball.